Welcome to Global World Watch. Please subscribe and press the bell icon for more updates. China has long dreamed of joining the elite club of nations that design and build their own commercial jets. For decades, every new plane bought by a Chinese airline meant money and technology flowing to Airbus or Boeing. This dependence was seen as a strategic weakness. The solution? Build a homegrown jet, the C999. The C999 was meant to be a symbol of national pride and economic independence. Backed by billions in government funding, COMAC was tasked with breaking the Airbus-Boeing duopoly. China's playbook was familiar: learn, copy, innovate, just as it had done in rail and telecom. With a vast domestic market and state support, leaders believed they could force a world-class aviation industry into existence. The plan? Build a jet as good as the A320 or 737, then require Chinese airlines to buy it. This would create a captive market and the scale needed to compete globally. But commercial aviation is a different beast. Airplanes are among the most complex machines ever built, demanding flawless integration of millions of parts. Trust, from airlines, pilots, and passengers, is everything. China was about to learn that ambition and money alone can't buy a seat at this table. The C999's journey would be a humbling lesson in the realities of aerospace. Building a jet isn't like making smartphones or trains. The stakes are higher, the standards stricter, and the margin for error non-existent. The dream was to dominate the skies. But first, China had to prove it could even get off the ground. The C999 would test not just China's engineering, but its ability to win global trust. China didn't start from scratch with the C999. Instead, it set out to build a jet that looked and felt just like the Airbus A320, the workhorse of Chinese airlines. The logic was simple. If pilots and mechanics already knew the A320, switching to the C999 would be easy. COMAC promised airlines a familiar plane, but cheaper and made in China. The strategy extended to the supply chain. COMAC approached many of the same Western suppliers for engines, avionics, and landing gear. The plan was to use proven Western technology to de-risk the project, then gradually replace it with domestic parts. It was a classic market for technology swap. But copying a design is one thing, mastering integration is another. An airplane is more than the sum of its parts. It's a tightly woven system. Airbus had spent decades perfecting this integration, especially the software and systems that make everything work together. China hoped to shortcut this process, but the real challenge was invisible: the expertise, the code, the know-how. You can buy the ingredients, but not the recipe. The C999 was a lookalike, but could it match the A320's reliability and safety? That was the billion-dollar question. The world was watching to see if China could turn imitation into true innovation. The answer would define the C999's fate. The C919 was branded as made in China, but its most critical parts came from the West. Engines from GE and Safran, avionics from Honeywell and Rockwell Collins, landing gear from Europe and the US. COMAC was more an assembler than a true manufacturer. This created a paradox. China's flagship jet was deeply dependent on foreign technology. The plan was to learn from Western partners and eventually replace their parts with Chinese versions. But Western companies guarded their secrets, selling only what they had to, never the crown jewels. The C999's heart and brain remained Western, making it hard to claim true independence. Airlines saw through the branding. Why buy an unproven Chinese airframe with the same Western guts? The C999 was a symbol, but not yet a real alternative. Its reliance on foreign parts was a strategic vulnerability. Any export controls or political tensions could halt production overnight. The Made in China label was more aspiration than reality. This fundamental weakness would haunt the program. Building a new jet is brutally hard, and the C999's journey was riddled with setbacks. COMAC's timeline was wildly optimistic. First flight slipped by years. Integrating complex systems from global suppliers proved far tougher than expected. Test flights revealed software glitches, unexpected stalls, and weight problems. The plane was too heavy, burning more fuel and flying shorter distances than rivals. Each fix triggered new delays. Meeting strict safety standards was a constant struggle. Reports of engine risks and software bugs raised red flags. Every missed deadline eroded confidence among airlines and regulators. The initial excitement faded, replaced by skepticism. The C919's path to the skies was proving far more turbulent than Beijing had hoped. The C919's success depended on Chinese airlines embracing it. On paper, there were hundreds of orders, but most were non-binding, more political gesture than business commitment. Airlines hesitated for practical reasons. The A320 and 737 were proven, reliable, and deeply integrated into their operations. Switching to the C919 meant new training, new maintenance, and new risks. The C919 didn't offer better fuel efficiency, range, or comfort. The only real incentive was a lower sticker price, not enough to offset the risks. Even state-owned airlines prioritized their bottom line. If Chinese airlines weren't fully on board, why would foreign carriers take the leap? The lack of true domestic enthusiasm sent a clear signal. The C919 wasn't ready for prime time. Airbus didn't panic over the C919, it partnered with China. By opening an A320 assembly line in Tianjin, Airbus let Chinese airlines buy made-in-China jets with proven reliability. This move created jobs and goodwill, but kept the most valuable technology in Europe. Airbus became a partner, not just a competitor, making it harder for Beijing to sideline them. The strategy neutralized the C919's patriotic appeal. While COMAC struggled, Airbus delivered hundreds of jets from its Tianjin plant. Industrial diplomacy secured Airbus's market position. Sometimes, the best way to win is to join the game on your own terms. The final hurdle for any jet is certification by global regulators. Without approval from the FAA or ESA, a plane can't fly internationally. The C919 was certified by China's own regulator, but not by the world's gold standards. The FAA and ESA demanded full transparency and rigorous testing. Technical glitches and lack of access raised red flags. Without international certification, the C919 was grounded outside China. Its global ambitions were stalled at the border. Commercial aviation runs on trust and shared standards. You can't just build a plane and expect the world to accept it. For now, China's aviation dream remains earthbound.